Hello, I'm Belkis Perez. Thanks for watching Coral Gables Television. Today on Coral Gables Now, if you drive, then you're familiar with these signs. Why it's so important you obey the rules of the road. Art Basel returns to South Florida next month. We'll show you what one local gallery has planned for the big event and find out why so many businesses are moving in. Those stories and much more. Plus, we're filming at historic City Hall. Coral Gables Now starts right now. Welcome to Coral Gables Now. I'm Belkis Perez. We are here at historic City Hall, and right behind me is Miracle Mile, the beginning of the city's business district. So many people are flocking to Coral Gables. We've been named one of the greatest cities for young people, and we'll get to that a little later. But we've got restaurants, shops, and companies all wanting to move in. So exactly what is making Coral Gables so attractive for these businesses? Well, we've brought in the expert here, Thad Adams. He is the vice president of the Alan Morris Company, which is headquartered right here in Coral Gables for 53 years, huh?
That's correct.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
So, you know, we've got, I can tell you what I think are some of the reasons why companies want to come here. We've got a very busy downtown, as we can see. We've got a safe environment, and it's also beautiful, but it's much more than that.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about what makes it different.
Well, right now, the current market conditions bode very well for Coral Gables. Despite the economic downturn, we still maintain a vacancy rate of only 15%, and it is still a tenant's market, but that is turning right now, so we're just starting to see rates go up. So tenants in the marketplace, this is a good time to lock in. You compare us to downtown Brickell and Doral, other competing markets, our vacancy rate is lower.
That's what I was going to ask you. What's the vacancy rate for those then, for those areas?
You're looking at near 20% in those marketplaces, and so it bodes very well for Coral Gables that we're below that.
So how about the different businesses? We've seen, we've done several e-news stories as far as all these businesses coming in. Can you give me some examples of these?
Sure.
And it's not just companies, MNCs. They're also restaurants and shops.
Yes, it's very exciting. In real estate, we gauge a market by absorption rate, and that's the net increase in occupancy of office space. And the absorption rate just year to date for 2012 has been 160,000 square feet. It's been higher than it has for the past several years and higher than our competing markets right now. So we're doing very well. Specific examples of that, and I know I'm going back a couple of years, but I still have to note that the relocation of Bacardi, its worldwide headquarters here, that was 230,000 square feet in just one move. And the impact on the economy is tremendous. In addition to Bacardi, we have Capital Bank, which is an $8 billion bank, has located its headquarters here in Alhambra Towers. We also have other companies that are new to market that are coming. The expansion of HBO Latin America remaining and staying in Coral Gables, that was 66,000 square feet. We also have Gibraltar Bank that has renewed. We also have a new headquarters relocation, Dade Medical College, that has just come. They're a client of ours and located a full floor at 95 Merrick. And it's also extremely exciting right now. They're in the process, we haven't finalized it yet, of locating a higher education campus literally right here in downtown Coral Gables that would occupy another 20,000 square feet. So again, there's the activity, and I could go on and on, but there's a tremendous amount of new to market companies. Another major one was Cherry Beckert in Holland. This is the 26th largest CPA firm in the country, and they hired 115 people and expanded here last year, now occupying 29,000 square feet.
And they moved from downtown Miami, right, to Coral Gables?
They actually moved from outside.
From outside into.
Yes, but we're also seeing companies move from both downtown and Brickell Avenue to Coral Gables. We have Richmond Greer, which is a long-standing law firm that has been in downtown Miami for many years. Yes. They relocated to 396 Alhambra, and we also have Banco Pinchicha that has moved from Brickell Avenue to Coral Gables.
So what do you think is going on there? I've heard that economic development and bringing these businesses in, there's two ways of doing this, and that's building businesses to spec building buildings to spec for businesses to come in specifically. But another thing is building these gorgeous buildings like the one on Alhambra, the one on Ponce with the birds.
Right.
Tell me about that, and is that one of the incentives that businesses look at?
Yeah,
beautiful buildings and just the amenities that they need.
Absolutely. You look at the quality of the product, and in our case, it's the quality of the office buildings. When we built Alhambra Towers in 2002, we decided to build a trophy building. We paid more for the property, but in the end, it turned out to be a tremendous success story. We actually lost our anchor tenant 2 years ago, the Bank of Miami, that had been in business for 30 years, and that was 57,000 square feet. We released our building 62,000 square feet in only 6 months. So that speaks, I think, not only to the quality of the building, but to the quality of the market as well. We're also now undertaking the development of Ponce de Leon Towers, which would be a 210,000 square foot new office tower. You have recent success stories in 396 Alhambra that has attracted major tenants in their new building that's on Lejeune and Alhambra.
So what are the market conditions as far as, is this the same thing that we're seeing in Miami and in Brickell and the other places that we compete against?
Let me tell you, we do have fierce competition in today's marketplace. You've added over 2 million square feet in downtown and Brickell Avenue just in the last several years alone. When you have new product that comes in, they'll typically try to offer lower rates, so it gets very competitive. And I will say that the city's done an outstanding job of being pro-economic development and supportive of quality growth of our business community.
So what do you think is that's bringing these businesses then into Coral Gables and giving us that competitive advantage to the other markets?
It involves support at all levels. One great example is the Permitting Assistance Program that was created. I had the pleasure to serve on the board of the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce, and we formed a partnership with the city, with the Office of Economic Sustainability and with the Development Office. And basically, we have identified companies that are either new to market or are here and want to grow, and they say, you know what, I have to occupy by this date or I may not come here or grow here. And we've been able to facilitate their permits and turn around what is, I think, perceived as a negative factor sometimes in Coral Gables that isn't necessarily true about permitting. And so this program alone in the last 2 years has created over 300 new jobs and a capital investment of over $27 million.
Is that one of the main criticisms that we get in the city? People worried about the permitting process, not having the right information? And
it can be a perceived challenge, and many times the perception is not reality. And so I think while the city has improved dramatically, it is something to keep working on. They have made tremendous strides in improving the efficiency of the permitting process. And in fact, some of those stringent guidelines are good for the city because it keeps the quality here.
And I've heard that being so close to the airport doesn't help, it doesn't hurt either.
Let me tell you, we're 10 minutes away from the airport. We have relocated companies from Brickell Avenue where their clients had to leave their office at 3 o'clock to make sure they got to the airport. In Coral Gables, we don't have that. You also have one of the most central locations in all of Dade County. So the ingress and egress, there are places in the CBD where it can literally take you 15 to 20 minutes just to get out of your building and on the road. Coral Gables is a tremendously central location. We're tied to the Metro Rail, and the trolley system has been a roaring success.
All right, and lastly, why should residents care about all this business development that we've got going on?
Well, I've been born and raised in Coral Gables. I'm a native here. I think what's important is the residents need to realize how important the business community is. They pay more than 50%. They pay the lion's share of the revenue that comes to the city. And so if you don't sustain and grow in a quality way that revenue source, you're either going to have to raise millage rates or reduce services. So it is very important to each and every resident that we maintain that revenue stream, but in a quality manner as we've done.
Thank you, Thad, so much for being here. And I want to point out one other thing about Thad. His mom is Betsy Adams, a great woman, and right behind us is a statue of Merrick, which she helped to bring here to Coral Gables. And she's also responsible for many of the entrances in Coral Gables. So your family definitely has a vested interest in Coral Gables, and we thank you for that.
Thank you. I got big shoes to fill.
All right, and we're actually coming back with more of Coral Gables Now. We're going to go to another location now and go check out a police officer who is patrolling in the school zones, and he's going to give us some do's and don'ts of the road. We'll be right back.
Can I help you, sir?
I found these over by the stairs.
Okay, thank you.
What are they?
Love handles. Lots of people lose them taking the stairs instead of the escalator.
Welcome back to Coral Gables Now. We are in front of Coral Gables Elementary, one of the many schools in the city. Every school has school zone signs and crosswalk signs, but the question is, when you drive by it, what is it that you do? Well, the Coral Gables Police Department spends a lot of time making sure you make the right decisions when you're crossing through a school zone. Joining us now is Officer John Carrasco of the Special Enforcement Division. Thank you so much, Officer, for being here. So basically, we're enforcement. Is that what you spend most of your time doing?
Yes, especially during the first 2 weeks of school. We make sure that all the schools are covered at one point or another during the school times, just to remind the parents that school is back in session, and we usually issue warnings the first couple of days, and then from there we continue with citations.
Okay, and what would you say is the problem? Is it speeding, people doing other things when they're driving?
I think it depends on the school. I'd say here in Coral Gables Elementary, it's speeding. There's no doubt about that. Coral Gables High School, you have speeding as well as parents dropping kids off on the roadway, on Bird Road or on Lejeune Road, stopping traffic, impeding the flow of traffic, and then allowing their kids to cross, in some cases, multiple lanes of traffic to get to the school.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem there as well because it's such a busy thoroughfare, just like Ponce here.
Correct.
I think the fact, and you tell me what you think, residential area, not as much traffic as you would get here in the business district, people coming to work, getting into the city, that would be a problem too.
That's correct. Well, we have some schools inside residential areas where the traffic is not that bad and speeding is not that much of an issue. It's usually out on schools like, for example, Ponce Elementary, Gables High. Trying to think of another school that we might have in the city. I think those two are the main ones. So
what do you guys do when you're out here? Is it just your presence alone, or do you do radar when you're out here, laser?
We use a laser, which reaches up to actually more than 1,200 feet, which is about a quarter of a mile. And we're monitoring traffic, we're monitoring pedestrians at the same time, just looking for violations.
So what do you think about the different tactics? Do you think that residents are more concerned, or it's more of an impact to them when they see these signs everywhere, or do you think that you have a bigger impact on them?
I think I have a better impact.
When they see you, they get scared.
They get scared and they slow down.
How about text messaging?
It's an increasing problem. I see it all the time. Being on the motorcycle, I can just kind of peek into cars, and I could be right alongside somebody, and they have no idea that I'm there. They're just fixated on the phone, texting, and when they see me, they'll kind of put it down real quick until I go out of sight, and then I'll keep an eye on them, and sure enough, they'll bring it back up.
So obviously the point of this is that the slower we go in these school zones, especially, the better it is, because we do have parents that still walk their kids to school, and someone could get hurt.
Right. Well, they walk their kids to school, and also the kids that cross the cross the street on their own. For example, at Gables High, you got kids that cross over from Altera and Lejeune. That's also one of the reasons for the drivers to slow down.
All right, thank you, officer.
You're welcome.
And if you want more information on safety tips regarding school zones, you can always go to dadeschools.net. And here is more on what we've got to come on Coral Gables Now.
You can probably recognize this piece, and I'll tell you where you can find it here in our city.
Things can get pretty ugly when you're bored. In an after-school program, you can find something way better to do.
Take a pop quiz with me. In what film did I feel a need for speed? What was my call sign? Who did I sit behind in the F-14? Oh, and one more question. Who does your kid sit behind in homeroom?
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school and know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
Welcome back. In City News, phase 1 of the city's street resurfacing project is nearly complete, and that means smoother drives through the city. Tanya Leeds has that story. She's actually at one of the construction sites. Tanya, what can you tell us?
Well, Belkis, as you can see, the crews behind me have been making major progress with the street resurfacing project. Right now, I'm located off of 8th Street, where phase 1 of this project is underway. Mayor Jim Kaysen recently met with residents in this area, and they expressed how pleased they were to see their needs be met. In other news, the organizations America's Promise Alliance and ING have recognized Coral Gables as one of the best communities for young people in the country. Our city represents the commitment to youth development that they seek through educational initiatives, civic engagement, and recreational programs. And lastly, pack up your swimwear and pool toys. The historic Venetian pool attraction will be closing for the upcoming winter season starting December 1st. During this time, the city is going to perform some maintenance on this facility and should open up again February 1st. For City News, this has been Tanya Leeds. Back to you, Belkis.
All right, thanks, Tanya. And on that street resurfacing project, phase 2 of the project, which will include resurfacing the streets in need in the city's downtown area, that project will start at the beginning of next year. Changing topics now, Art Basel, one of the world's premier art shows, is coming back to South Florida, and one local art gallery plans an amazing event every year around the Art Basel show. This year's exhibition, of course, like always, truly world-class. Veronica Fernandez got a sneak peek. Veronica, tell me about it. What can you tell me?
Yes, Belkis, and as you know, Galeria de Oro always has great shows, and for this year's Art Basel, this is no exception. This gallery is one of the most prestigious and recognized in Coral Gables. The gallery is preparing 2 shows for Art Basel, and one of them is here in our city.
Cadoro is doing a lot of things for Art Basel. We get prepared a year in advance only for this moment. We have an event in downtown that is a bit different from the one we have in Coral Gables because the spaces, the places are different.
De Oro expanded to a new space at the Village of Merrick Park just in time for Art Basel and the holiday season.
And we wanted to have in this beautiful space something particular, something that matches with the elegance of this shopping center. And what best of Salvador Dali, with his soft watches, with his surrealist pieces, with sculptures in 3D, fantastic.
Salvador Dali, Endless Time is the name of the exhibit, which will have its opening reception on November 15th and will continue showcasing until January 31st. In this exhibit, you'll find original Dali sculptures in different sizes.
The pieces are all for sale. We have one monumental sculpture outside in the beautiful garden. The sculpture title is Woman Aflame, is the famous surrealist pieces with the woman with the drawers inside her body. And then we have 2 museum sculptures. One is Nobility of Time, the famous soft watch, is almost 2 meters high. And the other one is the snail with the angel. It's a beautiful snail with on top of it an angel in gold.
Inside the new space, you'll find 12 smaller sculptures, all of them reflecting the surrealist style that characterizes Salvador Dali. As you know, all these pieces have been exhibited all around the world, and this is a great opportunity for you to come and see them. That's all I have. Back to you.
And that does it for this edition of Coral Gables Now. Thanks for watching Coral Gables Television, and we'll see you next month.